Thursday, and it should be a somewhat interesting one for those of you watching at home. You're going to want to watch all the way to the end because there's going to be a little surprise. Don't tell the kids here. They don't know about it yet.
Yeah, we don't know about it.
Well, we did this thing, and then, so this thing. I had an idea last night, so I'm going to try a little experiment. We're going to see how it goes.
Crap.
I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. Because I've heard I actually listen when some of you guys talk, and I listen when some of you guys complain. And part of it has been going from 6th grade to here and learning how to study. And some kids are like, I don't know how to study, which is a skill. If you've never learned it, I understand. And so part of my way of trying to help you is why I give you guys like the poems ahead of time and give you the questions ahead of time. So here's my idea. As opposed to just showing you these, what I'm going to do here in a moment is I'm going to read the poem to you so that way you get a chance to hear it. Then, if you have any questions after I read it, I will answer the questions for you. I am not going to go through and teach it like I do in normal class, but I figured this way at least you've seen the poem, you've heard the poem, and if you have a question that pops into your head, I will answer the questions about the poem. Then, I will even read the review questions to you, and then you can sort of go through in your head and think about it. And I figure at least that way you're seeing sort of how to do that studying thing. Is it going to work for all of you? No. But maybe it helps, and I'll see what we can do. Or some of you guys are just vigorously like, no, you can't make me learn. That's fine. There's only so many things I can do. Hi, Jaden.
Can you, can I ask for the answers on the review thingy?
You can. I won't give them to you, but you can ask. Okay.
You don't give
So, the first one, Living Tenderly. I'm going to read the 2 stanzas to you. It is going to sound confusing the first time I go through. But then if you slowly think about it for a moment, things will start to make more sense, like Brendan.
I brought my book to show you it's alive.
Are you keeping it still?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good to go. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sophia, I forgot to yell at her. I got so excited about teaching. It's embarrassing. So here it says, Living tenderly, my body a rounded stone, with a pattern of smooth seams. My head a short snake, retractive, projective. My legs come out of their sleeves or shrink within. So is my chin. My eyelids are quick clamps. My back is my roof. I'm always at home. I travel where my house walks. It is a smooth stone. It floats within the lake or rests in the dust. My flesh lives tenderly inside its bone.
I know what it is.
So, it's good. Here's the part where it's just, if you have a question, or if you're trying to I don't understand a thing, I can help you. If you feel you know what it is, that's great. I mean, if you have a question, but
It's a turtle.
okay, that's not a question. Okay.
Is this
Was-
a turtle?
I won't answer that one either. And I will say this though, if you think it's a turtle, can you give me proof that you think you would
Yes,
show it's a turtle?
I can.
Avery then?
No.
No, never mind. You gave me big eyes and nodded. How silly of me to think that was a yes.
I don't know.
Omar?
My back is my roof. I'm always at home.
Okay.
Like the shelf of the turtle.
The shell.
Shell.
Yeah.
I think you said shelf. I was confused. Shell. Makes more sense. All right. Daniel?
My eyelids are quick clamped. Cause if you have a blinking, they blink fast.
Okay. Works. Anything else? All right. Name?
I travel where my house walks. It's in stone.
All right.
Oh, double.
Sophia?
My body a rounded stone with the pattern of seams.
Because of the shelf where we put things on top of it?
Yeah.
Shells.
Oh, now I got it.
Jaden?
My flesh lives tenderly.
Inside
No. Because under the shell, it doesn't get any like water.
Yeah, that works. That
Oh,
makes
it's
sense.
tender.
Anna?
My head short like a snake because I have really thin skin.
I can roll that too.
I want to cut off a
Abby, Daddy?
turtleneck.
It floats within the lake.
That's what I always want to do.
That's what Daniel was going to say. So, all right. Omar?
My legs come out of my the sleeves, like the back of the turtle shell.
Daniel?
My body a rounded stone with a pattern of smooth.
All right, works. Then we'll give you one more then. Nicely done. Again, if you didn't know you were just giving me answers, I'm absolutely fine with that. I figured this way you've seen it, you got a chance to talk about it. Here's my other poem. I think this other one's probably a little easier to understand, but then there's going to be things in there you have to figure out. This one's called The Evil Teacher.
It is about him.
I already figured it out.
It's him.
I stare upon a completely silent room, and 50 eyes follow my every move. English stick of knowledge raised in my right hand, one wrong answer, and a lightning-quick kaboom. All of the children leap into the air like popcorn kernels thrown into a hot, greasy pan. They thought they knew how school worked, but now they know that learning can scare. Hello Kitty B-points gripped in my evil fingers like a pink clipboard, my big eyes burning as bright as the red button of a dying Xbox, horns rising from my forehead. They are small, pointy cones of hate, laughing at the kids crying for their mommy, just like my daughter. It's all just a day in my life of evil, crushing the delicate flowers that are children's souls. How can a school let me near young minds? A K begins my name, and I'm mean as a weasel. Daniel.
It's you.
Me?
No,
it's
it's
not.
Mr. Keyboard.
Mohammed?
It's
Okay.
Why would you say that?
Because it starts with K.
Addie Patty?
I have a question. So when it says the English stick of knowledge raised in my right hand, that's you don't literally have an English stick of knowledge.
Yes, he does.
He does.
Oh, I see.
Literally, you see it.
That's the thinking.
An English stick of knowledge.
You thinking stick?
Annabelle?
Yeah,
I mean, sorry, not mine. That is a English stick of knowledge, whoever that might belong to.
There's a pink Hello Kitty board that Mr. Keyboard.
I do have a pink Hello Kitty board. I would not deny that. Daniel?
It says B points, and also you wrote one wrong answer when you said that last time. You would hit that thing and make a loud noise and make the kaboom noise.
I know what you're talking about.
Wait,
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking
What
about.
Jaden?
The red button of the dying Xbox happened to my Xbox 360.
That's why, whatever. Whenever someone wrote this, they were probably thinking about that. Yeah.
yeah,
Did your Xbox die?
I know I'm a PlayStation person, but I listen to a lot of my kids complain. So.
yeah, PlayStation.
Of your kids.
Well, no, my kids, not my kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
Us.
So then here are the questions. The idea being is as I read through them, if for each one of them I read it and you go, oh yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, I got that. Oh yeah, then you'll be fine. If I go through it and you go, you might have things you want to go look at. So there are 15 questions on the quiz. There's only 11 here because sometimes there's 2 questions connected to an idea. So like the one about rhyme scheme, you have 2 different rhyme scheme questions, but I only have 1 rhyme scheme thing here. So it says, how can it be proved using evidence in the poem Caterpillar, what type of creature a rook is? Use evidence from the poem One of the Seven to show who or what the speaker in the poem hates. Be able to recognize nouns in a strong metaphor and simile. Use evidence from the poem Living Tenderly to show what type of animal it is. Write a simile that could have been included in the poem Living Tenderly that makes sense with what we learn. From the Evil Teacher poem, recognize the similes and metaphors in it. There's a lot. Be able to correctly write out a rhyme scheme for the first 6 lines of a poem. Identify alliteration in our poems. Use evidence to determine the identity of the speaker in the Evil Teacher poem. Be able to recognize multiple pronouns in a stanza. And understand how adverbs work and what it is they modify. I
And
don't
this
know.
is the test I
There's
failed.
a chance you should probably know that answer by tomorrow.
I do. I'm just not.
I'm not attacking you.
And this
I'm
is the
just
test I
helping.
failed.
So hopefully that helps give you a little bit of guidance from
We just
there.
went over all the questions.
No. Oh, that's not.
Okay.
All right. Then, small thing before we get to review thing. So this thing we talked about before, listening to my students talk the last couple days, I wanted to add on to it slightly. A little quick mini discussion kind of thing, which is teaching styles. I used to think every teacher taught the way I taught because I've learned since, but that's what I used to think because I know how I teach and I'm like, it works. I just assumed other teachers did the same thing I did. And I had students tell me that's not what happens at all. And I've learned that as kids adjust, that it takes a little bit to adjust to my teaching style. And the fact that I like kids talking and interacting and communicating and stuff like that, I think it makes learning more fun. But it's tough for me to teach when kids interrupt. I don't know if you guys ever watch stand-up comics But there's these things called hecklers that'll sit in the audience that'll like make fun of the stand-up comic and like give them a hard time, and they get to kick the hecklers out because they're bad people. I have hecklers, but I don't get to kick my hecklers out because you guys are my hecklers sometimes when you interrupt my teaching. My problem is I don't want to yell at you and crush you, nor do I want to change my teaching style. I don't not want to. I can't teach quietly. If my class was you guys all quietly staring at me the entire class period while I teach, I would go insane. It's why I don't show movies in my class, because I like being in front of the room and I like interacting with you. If I had to spend multiple days sitting at my desk watching you guys watch a movie, you would hear a gentle thunk, thunk, thunk in the back of the room of me going insane. So I like interacting with you. It's why I became a teacher. But I need to find a balance between you guys enjoying class and me not always being interrupted. And so this is where I'm open to ideas and suggestions as we go forward. I don't want to crush you and scare you and make you not talk, but I also need to be able to teach without crushing you. But if what I'm doing is working and you guys are good with it, I'm good with it too. But I don't want you guys to think I'm going to ignore your opinions. If you have an idea, I'm happy to listen to it. If it comes to you later and you're like, hey, what about? I'm happy to try to give ideas. It's just I don't ever want to just make you feel like you don't have an input in my class. As long as I get to do what I want, which is I like finding things like poems or books that you guys start off hating, and then as I teach it, you guys are like, that poem wasn't bad, or I kind of like that book. Like my little teacher heart goes all tuka 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 when those things happen. And like those are the things I want. It's just I like to be able to get to my teaching. Jaden.
I have an idea. Instead of like making the big quiz like at the end of like all the teaching you do, after you teach like something that's, say you like how you taught the metaphor and simile, so you teach both of those, and then right after like the day, you like it's like pop-up quiz. But
The only problem I have with that is that's for me closer to just what homework is. And it's like because instead of giving like, that's the idea of doing lots of small things, which would be homework, versus one big thing, which is quiz. And I've gone back and forth, like my class used to be more homework and very few quizzes. And that came from discussions with kids where they said that they would prefer that we spend the week learning and then just have a quiz to show that you learn a thing, as opposed to doing the little homeworky bit. So I slowly started cutting out homework and putting it into the quizzy thing. I'm more than happy to go back the other way. Again, not me trying to attack, I'm not threatening you. I'm just like, I just never know if like all of a sudden like a Gen Z thing changes and all of a sudden you're like, that's the way we want. I'm like, okay, I'll adjust if that's what helps you guys learn more. So again, it was just me trying to adjust. Even though I am part dinosaur, I can listen to the little chirping of the little birds that are out there too. So as we go forward, if you have ideas, discussions, I'm happy to do it. All right, then let's get to my fun-ish stuff.
Sigma.
Quickly, we're going to do a quick reminder for yesterday over the whole how to do the rhyme scheme. Since in theory it should be in your head, we're going to take like a minute and a half. What is rhyme scheme?
The way the rhymes rhyme.
They code that tells
The way the rhymes are rhyming.
Some of you didn't even have to look at your paper on that one.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
I just memorized that.
Some of you did, and that's why it says, did you write this down to help you? For the poem I'm getting ready to show you, what's the first line going to be?
Hey.
Nicely done. Ooh. How do you know when a stanza ends? So earlier today, I didn't think I had to ask these questions, and then I learned that we have some struggles. How many lines in this first stanza?
4.
The reason I asked is earlier today when I did this exact same thing, and I said, can you give me the rhyme scheme for the first stanza? I had kids giving me anywhere from 1 letter to 20 letters. And I'm like, do you not know where it stands? And it turns out the kids were just special. So if I were to ask you, what is the rhyme scheme for the first stanza, how many letters are you going to tell me?
2.
4.
It starts 4.
4.
So, what would be the rhyme scheme for this stanza?
A-A-B-B.
Okay. When we go to stanza 2, what is the rhyme scheme for 2?
C-C-B-D.
For 3?
E-E-F-F.
Good job, those of you who followed Jamie. So then, the next poem I'm going to show you, what's the first line going to be? If none of the lines rhyme, what's it going to be? If we get all the way down to Z and it still doesn't rhyme, there you go. That's, again, as tricky as that can be, so we should be good. So then, on your paper, if you look on the back side, underneath where it says living tenderly,
Haiku.
it's correct. That pronunciation thing will get you. So, from what I understand, some of you guys had haiku before, because 2 weeks ago, when I first said we're going to do poetry, every class I would have a kid go, haiku! And they got all excited about it. So, I don't know if it's just the only poetry term you know. Personally, I like haiku because they're short and they're really quick. And I'm going to teach you a thing called battle haiku in just a moment. And that's going to be our fun thing we're going to get into in a moment. But this is the same thing that's on your handout. So I just went through and highlighted the parts to try and help you know things. If you've seen haiku before, you should know these things. If not, I'm going to try to help you real quick. Every haiku is the same length. How many lines in a haiku?
3.
It is always 3 lines, always 1 stanza. That is it. Omar.
You don't get back to drama already.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. No problem. Daniel.
Can I read?
In a moment. Awesome. Let's see a second. You actually, part of today, you're guys are going to get a chance to get B points in a moment, depending on how creative you feel like being. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to get points.
I already made a haiku.
So for this one, looking at our haiku as we go through, every haiku is always going to be 3 lines. This is where you also have to know how to count syllables. And this is where a lot of you guys grew up doing the clappy monkey thing. Did we find something on the floor? An Advil, don't eat it yourself.
An Advil?
I appreciate you saying Advil instead of I found drugs on the ground in our recording class.
I found drugs. Mr. Brovicast, go to jail.
We found drugs in my room. It was an Advil. I think it came from the previous teacher who was in here last class. So here we have, those of you who don't know how to do syllables, is how you break up a word. It's where you normally see people do clapping monkey style, where you have to go through the accounting thing of how many syllables are. And if you're a clappy person, clappy monkey is fine. If you have a word you can't figure out, like let's say I give you the word fantabulous, and you're like, fantabulous. Here's how I can help you out. Or squirrel, which kids seem to struggle knowing how many syllables. Exactly. Here is the other way to help you. It's called jaw drop. And jaw drop, in a word, every time your jaw comes down, that is a syllable in a word.
Oh.
So you can just count it that way and go fantabulous. Tells you there's 4. Squirrel. Squirrel. Now, what you'll see Jaden doing is this thing I see a lot of kids do. When you count it, the hand has to stay. Because if you move the hand at the same time and go squirrel 12, and be like, I got 12, you have to make sure a hand
So what if
stays.
somebody does
Just jaw comes in. And that is where some kids, there is no way to help special kids who just do stuff like that. And eventually, some of you will get to the point where you can just count it with your hands. Like, how many points will I charge that kid who keeps talking? Oh, you guys all stop talking. So sometimes you can just count them on your fingers as you go through. For haiku, the first line of every haiku always has the same number of syllables, which is
4.
as much fun as it is to yell out random numbers. It is right there in front of you. The second line is
7.
the third line for a total of.
17.
That's why we have advanced math for those.
17.
17.
I got double.
So good. Yes, he can count all the way to 5. And so here's where you're going to have syllables 5, 7, 5. The other big things, because they're short, all of it is supposed to be about one thing. Those of you who might have some ADHD issues and all squirrel, you have to make sure that as you go through and do it, you don't get easily distracted. That's okay. So make sure your whole haiku is all about the same thing. And what is the subject matter supposed to be?
something. The same thing.
Directions. Directions.
Right.
Your head's going.
About what?
Nature.
Nicely done.
What they confuse him?
Oh, I
So,
did this last year.
so they're supposed to always be about nature. So they're supposed to be short, one idea, and you get them across about nature. So I have a couple examples we'll take a look at to help you out.
I did.
So I will do finger county as we go through. So you have the first one says, little piggies are rolling around in the mud. So all one topic is all about pigs. Now it's talking about pigs rolling around in dirt, but that's all pigs. Pigs come from nature, that's why they're delicious. And it has 5, 7, 5.
They were cows.
They are also from nature and also delicious.
Rolling around the yeah.
Then another one, give me an idea. I think these are different than the ones I put on there, so I think I got one. Says whispers in the leaves, telling all nature's secrets. Autumn has arrived.
Autumn has
Hang
raised.
on, big brain moment for a second. You don't have to know this.
I forget.
When it says whispers in the leaves, telling all nature's secrets, do you know what that's referring to?
Yes, the wind hitting the leaves.
Yeah, nicely done.
Because
Not only-
you're
It is kind of like personification,
I
not
like
bad.
that.
And so autumn has arrived. And then I also tend to like have fun with my haiku, and sometimes you can be a bit more creative. Like squirrels are in the trees. I can hear their chattering. Quick! Dodge the acorns. Technically, it's all one idea. It's about nature, and it gives us our 5, 7, 5. So it's still, it's one of the reasons why I like haiku. I can write them quickly. Now, here's where we're going to see which kids understand haiku directions. I have some broken haiku, and we're going to see if you can figure out what the broken part is in the haiku. I'll read haiku to you here in just a moment. All right. So, is her birthday present your loss of points for taking her thing?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I didn't.
No, she didn't.
Oh, trouble.
Bad.
No haiku. At least you now understand how they work, and I'll see you later.